Now on Coast TV News.
Ocean City doubling fines for parking violations during special events. How much more you could pay for a ticket. An update tonight on that massive cat rescue in Delmar. A new video just in from Humane World for Animals showing what responders walked into. And 6 hours behind closed doors, Bill Clinton questioned under oath in the Epstein probe. What he said and what could come next.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Good Friday evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Our top story tonight, large events in Ocean City. They tend to bring thousands of people and cars, but that also leads to more people breaking the parking rules. So now the town is increasing parking fines during special events from $50 to $100. Coast TV reporter Kevin Zapay shows us which events will see those higher fines.
Finding a parking spot during the off-season is as easy as finding a front row seat to the waves on the beach. But during special events in town, parking can be hard to find. Bob and Lynn White stay clear of OC when those big events take place.
We don't come down here a lot during the busy season just because of traffic.
And now those big events will include an increase in parking fines. On Tuesday, the Ocean City Council approved the second and final reading of an ordinance doubling parking fines during special events in town. According to the town, these are some of the special events where that $50 fine would double to $100. Some people believe this will steer visitors away.
I think they might go down Delaware or something, you know, down the boardwalk down there.
According to the town, this change was made to encourage compliance and to discourage people from parking illegally and simply taking what was previously a $50 fine. But White argues it's not a good look for the town.
You don't want all your money going to parking fines. You want your money going to the businesses and support the businesses down here that need the money.
Whether you are for or against these double fines, be sure you park correctly in town. I'm Kevin Zapay, Ocean City, Coast TV News.
And Kevin did mention some of those events that the increased fines will apply to are the 4th of July, Oceans Calling, Country Calling, and other large-scale events throughout the year in OC. You're looking now at some video of the polar bear plunge from 2024. And if you don't already know, it's a huge fundraising event in Rehoboth Beach that benefits Special Olympics Delaware. But the city says they made the decision to cancel the plunge and the 5K run due to safety concerns this year. Organizers say snow has made parking way more limited downtown. It's also created unsafe walkways throughout the city. City crews are still cleaning up downed branches from the blizzard, but some local business owners say this is unfortunate, especially because the events were already postponed once in February.
As business owners, we look forward to this because this is the one event that actually brings in some business into town over the winter months, and we pretty much we can all use it. Because of besides this, the weather overall this year has been like disastrous.
Here's the good news, though. The Coast Life team, Leah Rizzo and Charlie Sakaitis, are still going to do the plunge. They're still going to run into the ocean on Sunday, so stay tuned to Coast Life on Monday to see how that goes for them. We're going to go to our Coast TV poll. We're asking today, what does canceling the plunge mean for winter in Rehoboth Beach? Looking at the updated results, 22% say a slower season, 6% say it means Rehoboth needed a break, but 72% say it will be a safer weekend. That is why they canceled the event for safety reasons. But if you haven't voted yet, please do. You can go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Now we're looking live into Rehoboth Beach. You can still see the snow on the boardwalk and the beach there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams on the forecast.
Well, one thing's for sure, Christine, at least the mild weather we're going to experience over the weekend will give us a chance to melt a lot of those snow dunes, so to speak, down to size for us. We are at 32 degrees right now in the Laurel area, and we're going to drop down to 30 degrees as early as 3 o'clock in the morning with a few scattered clouds, but not a whole lot. We started off this morning at 25 degrees in Georgetown, 27 in Salisbury, 28 in Ocean City, as well as Cambridge. and we're staying relatively clear for right now. We're not seeing much of a problem, and the winds have died down a bit for us as well. So it's now going to turn into a very pleasant weekend without blustery conditions on the beaches. In fact, you might sneak in a good little walk on the beaches, to be quite honest. Now, keep in mind, we do have the Delmar going to have the Delmarva Festival, a job fair that's going to kick in for tomorrow. We're looking for a good deal of sunshine without a problem, with temperatures climbing well into the 50s.
Thank you, Paul. 30,000 gallons of wastewater overflowed from Millsboro's wastewater treatment facility today into the Indian River. Millsboro's town manager said it happened because of a bad pump. They also said the recent blizzard did not help because the wastewater treatment filters could not keep up with all of that extra fresh water. One woman who lives in Millsboro says maybe the plant should be upgraded.
I think they should take steps to prevent this in the future, because we do a lot of fishing and crabbing in the Indian River Bay, so I'm concerned.
Now, DENREC says the spill lasted less than an hour. DENREC continuing to investigate what led to that pump failure. And you will remember last month a broken pipe at the Millsboro wastewater treatment plant that caused a 25,000-gallon spill and led to a 21-day shellfish harvest ban, but no word yet on if a 21-day ban will go into effect after today's spill. We got a clearer picture today of a heartbreaking rescue in Wicomico County. You're looking now at video provided to us by a rescue group called Humane World for Animals. It was one of the responding agencies that rescued more than 100 cats from what officials are calling inhumane conditions at a sanctuary in Delmar. Humane World officials say they rescued cats that were injured, severely underweight, and suffering from respiratory issues.
Wasn't a clean environment for them, and it wasn't adequate shelter in this extreme type of weather. It's not something we want to see a cat loose and just left out to fend for itself in the cold.
Those rescued cats were taken to a Humane World facility where they got emergency veterinary care. We are told this is still under investigation and that so far no charges have been filed in Wicomico County. Also in Wicomico, the Salisbury Fire Department is experiencing struggles when it comes to filling open positions. Fire Chief Frampton says the newest addition to the team fills all of the department's open positions, but they wish they had more. Training this week involved fire hose and water drills, also masking up, suiting up. While the new recruit Cody has experience in firefighting, Frampton says that is getting much harder to find. He says 50 to 60 people used to apply for open positions. Now he says they're lucky if they get 5. And that doesn't change the requirements needed to be considered for a position.
We go outside just as much as they come in to help us. It's truly a team effort, and that showed itself during the storm especially. But volunteerism is down across the country. That's not a surprise. So there is more being put on municipalities to increase their career or paid staffing through fire and EMS.
Now, getting more positions at the department, the chief says that comes down to funding. He says they have been and plan to continue to make budget requests to the city for more firefighter spots in Salisbury. Former President Bill Clinton testified behind closed doors in New York Friday, one day after his wife Hillary Clinton. Democrats and Republicans say Mr. Clinton was very cooperative in his deposition in the congressional probe of the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Sherelle Hubbard has details on what was discussed.
79-year-old former President Bill Clinton was questioned under oath Friday for more than 6 hours before the House Oversight Committee in a deposition tied to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The meeting was closed door, but inside, Clinton said in his opening statement that he, quote, saw nothing and did nothing wrong. Committee Chairman James Comer told reporters afterward that the Clintons' testimony was riddled with denials.
Many times the Clintons couldn't recall or didn't know or denied that they were pertaining to them.
The former president did not take questions from reporters afterward, as his wife did the day before, where she denied having met Epstein or knowledge of his criminal activities.
I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his home.
A photo from the Epstein files, earlier made public by the Justice Department, shows Bill Clinton in a jacuzzi with a woman whose face is redacted. When asked about the photo, Clinton told lawmakers that he did not know or have sex with the woman, according to two sources familiar with the testimony. A top Democrat on the committee said the Clintons' depositions should pave the way for President Trump to testify too.
He appears in the Epstein files next to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell almost more than anybody else.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
And we have more news to tell you about this evening. Coming up ahead, Governor Meyer signs an executive order on housing. A look at the new regulations he says could speed up affordable housing projects statewide. And coming up, Paul Williams is in our Coast TV First Alert Weather Center with a look at your full forecast. But first, history, charity, and poetry this weekend. Coast TV News has a look at some cool things to do up next. Well, many of you may have been mentally preparing to jump into the ice-cold ocean water this weekend, but you're off the hook now because the Lewis Polar Bear Plunge has been canceled. But there are still ways to support Special Olympics Delaware and plenty more events happening here along the coast. So here's a look at some cool things to do. So you won't be running into the ocean with 20,000 people this weekend, but the Lewis Polar Bear Plunge is still bringing the fun. Saturday in Rehoboth, there's fire and ice at Atlantic Sands and a chili contest in the afternoon. And then you can do your own icy challenge at home. You can jump in the snow, you can dump a bucket of water over your head, however brave you're feeling. It's all to support Special Olympics Delaware. But if you'd rather stay dry, you can help stitch a piece of history. The Daughters of the American Revolution inviting the public to the historic Mall House in Lewis to help sew Delaware's panel for a nationwide exhibit honoring the original 13 colonies. That's happening Saturday from 10 to 4. Here's a heads up, the point at Cape Henlopen State Park closes on Sunday for nesting season, so Saturday's Get the Point Beach Walk at 11, hosted by the Seaside Nature Center, is basically your last chance to check out the point until next winter. Beer lovers, Dogfish Head Brewing and Eats is hosting a Craft Brewing Hall of Fame watch party at 3 on Saturday. They'll be live streaming the inductions because the founder of Dogfish Head is among the nominees. Or if poetry is your thing, Camp Rehoboth Theater Company has a poetry jam Saturday at 3 at the Camp Rehoboth Community Center. Tickets are $20. For event details, tickets, and more, just head over to coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Well, we've been looking forward to this much warmer weekend and the evaporation of a lot of the snowbanks and all that kind of stuff. And as we take a look in Rehoboth, to see all this mist you see right here, this fog, actually that looks like a byproduct of the evaporation that's been going on pretty steadily throughout the day. Now that we have the dew point temperature at 33 and the air temperature at 34, dew point temperature, air temperature real close to one another, so we're near 100% saturation in the atmosphere. So yeah, you have a lot of this, which is technically kind of like a cloud on the ground. Now it looks like we're going to stay in the mid to lower 30s for the rest of the evening, going into the early morning hours. Overall, we're staying very quiet at this present time. We're much ado about nothing at this point, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, we don't have to have an exciting weather weekend. Don't you agree? I mean, we are cooler. We're 7 to 8 degrees cooler in Salisbury and in Ocean City. Overnight lows will drop down to 29 degrees in Greenwood, Seaford, as well as Delmar, and will drop down to 30 in Georgetown. Saturday will feature a few scattered clouds, have a little bit of fog in places like Bethany Beach and Ocean City. The winds will be pushing mainly out of the north, and we're looking for temperatures to hover at about 50 degrees, which is going to be very mild on the beaches. We'll be warmer in inland areas. We start off cloudy for everybody. Saturday, 6:30, cloudy. But then the clouds will clear out by 3:30. We'll be into the 50s very easily. Now, our initial model run was indicating it would be into the near 60s, but the latest model run is indicating that air coming out of the north is going to pour in a little bit quicker than anticipated. So that's going to be part of the situation. For Monday, we're going to look for it to begin to push on through. Now, Saturday, 46, Sunday, 46, Assateague, and then Monday, 34 degrees. And then staying very cloudy. We go up towards Ocean City, look for clouds and actually some fog early in the morning. Ocean City, a bit foggy in Fenwick Island with a little bit of drizzle actually, and cloudy on Sunday. Then in Lewis, we're going to go from 50 degrees to 50, but we're going to go from sunshine to cloudy skies. Then we're going to be looking at about 35 degrees for us on Monday as we brace for a chance of a little snow. Now, our snow threat is a minor snow threat because the path of the storm is looking like it's going to stay inland, and we're going to have a lot of moisture coming off of the water that's going to keep us above that freezing threshold, and we'll have mainly just good old-fashioned cold, annoying rain. Snow staying well to our north. And then even as we go into Monday, we see that the model's indicating the snow is going to be way to our north, and we have mainly rain for us right here at home. Then following that, we'll have temperatures that will stay above the norm from 8 to 14 days from now. So we're going to start trending upwards and stay that way after we get rid of Monday. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Yeah, we could have a little mix on Tuesday, but bottom line is it looks like we're getting warmer, and it'd be nice to stay there.
Yes, it would. And even though it's getting warmer, the cleanup from this weekend's blizzard continues. In Rehoboth Beach, crews still removing fallen trees and branches. Take a look here. For example, a tree here completely blocking one neighborhood road. The city's public works director says the tree fell on Sunday night. Other branches and tree limbs still littered all across Rehoboth, really. The public works director says crews have been working all week to try and clean it all up, but he says he's never seen this kind of damage from a storm here.
We're hiring an outside contractor to help with it. The city arborist is doing a lot, and the larger items we're not totally equipped for in public works, but we've been picking up the smaller items. In fact, we sent out several trucks today to pick up the smaller items.
The public works director says he's not sure exactly when every branch and every tree will be cleared, but he says cleanup work will continue over the next couple of weeks. Delaware's governor just signed an executive order that he says will directly make life more affordable for everyone here in Delaware. Reporter Tim Furlong has more on the order and what it means for Delaware and people looking to do business here.
These housing units going up on the east side of Wilmington should at least put a tiny dent in Delaware's growing shortage of affordable housing. Governor Matt Meyer says this executive order could help more housing developments in the state get done more quickly, as well as energy generation, water, and broadband projects. The governor says the state moves too slowly to get important projects approved and built. He says this order will change that. With rent and power bills skyrocketing, he says something has to change.
In a small place like Delaware, I have no tolerance for government that's kind of pointing fingers when there's a delay. We all got to get in a room and move things forward.
The governor insists this plan doesn't let developers cut corners and skip over things like environmental studies or public input sessions, things like that. He says it really just makes the whole process more transparent, and it also makes the state make decisions whether to approve or not to approve much more quickly. The order prioritizes important projects like energy generation and housing that would hopefully lead to lower bills for Delawareans. It allows permitting steps to run parallel and not consecutively. It calls for all state decisions to take no longer than 4 months, and it spells out transparent timelines and state contact information for developers. Delaware needs big upgrades, and state leaders say they have to make it easier for developers to do business here.
We have to do it better than Maryland. We have to do it better than Pennsylvania and New Jersey because we are such a small state, and so we have to be the best.
Even the leader of the Senate Republicans tells me this executive order is a welcome step, and he says he's cautiously optimistic this will make permitting easier and that this could make Delaware more efficient and responsive, which could ultimately improve the lives of everyone in the state. In Wilmington, Tim Furlong, Coast TV News.
Coming up tonight in sports, Decatur boys basketball coach B.G. Johnson returns to the sidelines for the playoffs. Find out if the Seahawks could survive and advance in just a bit. And coming up, a critical blood shortage on Delmar. How state leaders are raising awareness about it.
And we are expecting 57 for the high on Saturday in Cambridge, 50 on Sunday, and 34, a lot cooler on Monday.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
A serious blood shortage across Delmar is prompting action from state leaders. Today, the Delaware Legislative Black Caucus and the Blood Bank of Delmar held a press conference to raise awareness as the region's blood supply sits below a 2-day inventory, and that's well below the preferred 7-day reserve. Leaders say outreach to minority communities is critical as donations remain low. African Americans make up more than 20% of Delaware's population, but less than 6% of donors. And the blood bank says increasing diversity could help patients with sickle cell disease who rely on closely matched blood.
We really do rely on our Black donors to help us provide these extended matches for our patients. So having a donor supply that reflects the diversity in the community really kind of bridges the gap to help us provide these units to these patients so that they can continue to live fulfilling lives and do exceptional things.
The Blood Bank of Delmar says anyone interested in donating can walk in or make an appointment online. According to a new report from the International Data Corporation, there was a worldwide shortage of memory chips due to AI. An increased demand for the components is causing memory chip makers to not have much left over for other electronic items like phones, laptops, and gaming consoles. Now, the lack of equipment is expected to make some phone manufacturers to go out of business and cause smartphone prices to rocket upward. The report says the average cost for a smartphone will likely go up 14% this year. Well, right now it's not an official diagnosis, social media use disorder. It's not classified as a mental condition like gambling or substance abuse disorders, but experts say more evidence is mounting about the impact social media has on the mental health of children and teens. Tonight, Mandy Gaither has ways parents can help create a healthy digital balance.
It's not all bad. Social media can help children and teens create connections and be creative. But since their brains are still developing, it also comes with some risk,
including exposure to racist and sexist content, unrealistic beauty standards, disinformation, and cyberbullying.
Tamar Mendelson with the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health says parents can help create a healthy digital balance for young social media users by filling their time with in-person activities. That includes phone-free meals with family when possible, healthy bedtimes, and after-school clubs or sports.
Encouraging or requiring in-person activities can be more effective than simply banning social media because it offers concrete and hopefully enjoyable alternatives.
Next, Mendelson says to choose quality over quantity. She says because everyone is different, it's not possible to set a blanket time deemed safe to spend on social media. Instead, encourage positive online spaces that affirm their identity and expand their social circle.
This can be especially useful for young people with marginalized identities, including LGBTQ+ youth and youth with disabilities.
Finally, be aware of concerning behavior, including increasing amounts of time spent on social media sites if it's interfering with daily tasks or it's difficult to get them off these sites. Mendelson says persistent preoccupation with social media is also a problem.
Those are red flags that parents and educators should pay attention to.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
March Madness came a little early here on the Eastern Shore. The MPSSAA 3A State Boys Basketball Playoffs kicked off tonight. Decatur taking on visiting Arundel from across the Bay Bridge, and it was a close one that came down to the wire.
But here comes Arundel. Closing moments of the third. The pull-up three is no good, but Enoch Thomas drops in the putback to send us into the fourth quarter with a 5-point game. But in that fourth quarter, Aiden Queen driving inside, tough layup, count the bucket plus the foul. The crowd's fired up. Decatur goes back up by 7. Then the Decatur defense wakes up. Purnell gets a steal, goes coast to coast for 2. He finished with a game-high 26 points. But on the other end, Arundel won't go quietly. Benji Erogen leading the break finds Josh McKindy, who knocks down the pull-up J, and suddenly it's a 1-point game. Next possession, McKindy, open, bucket. And now Arundel leads by 1. But late in the game, Decatur looking for a dagger, and Ricardo Copes delivers. Decatur leads 52-47. Final seconds, Seahawks need a stop. and their defense stands tall. Decatur wins 52-49, and head coach B.J. Johnson had high praise for his guys after the game.
Well, it means a lot to me. I'm just happy to be back with my guys, you know. I give a lot of credit to the assistant coach for holding it down while I was out. But, you know, the kids, man, they're unbelievable. They played for me tonight, and I just love them and I appreciate them.
With the win, now Decatur travels to South Wither in the next round of the state playoffs, and B.J. Johnson just says his guys are going to keep playing hard for him because he thinks that if they want a magical run, it'll take a lot more of what they did tonight to get the job done. Reporting from Berlin, I'm Darren Wallace for DSN.
Now here's the live look into Salisbury. We've got one more check on the forecast for you right after this. If you've been searching for a job, make sure to join us this weekend for the Delmar Job Fair. You can meet with dozens of employers. That's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday at Delaware Tech in Georgetown. You should bring your resume with you. Make sure you dress nice, and admission is free.
In Ocean City, 38 degrees at this present time. We're going to see the fog kick in for us by 1 to 2 o'clock in Ocean City. We're going to have it even earlier for the folks that's right now at this hour for us in Rehoboth. We're continuing to anticipate that for the next 3 days, the beaches are going to stay cooperative for us and stay in alignment with what we need to see. And then finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. 57 for the high on Saturday, 50 on Sunday. Then on Monday, we dip all the way down to 34 for the high, 27 for the low, watching out for precipitation to kick in. And then on Tuesday, we'll have a mixture of rain and possibly a little sleet, but mainly a rain event. And then we get warmer than that and stay that way.
Okay, thanks again, Paul, and thanks to you at home for joining us for Coast TV News at 11 tonight. You can always find more news and weather. Just download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show is up next, and we're back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Have a great night.